right. In the first part of the video, we found all the lengths of a side. This one, we're going to go through and do 3 examples, and I'll show you how to find a missing angle value. So the 6 of these, we found side lengths. So this side length was almost 6. This one was a little over 13, etc. Now we're going to go through and find an angle measure. Still using SOHCAHTOA. So if it helps you as you're working, go ahead and write down the acronym. That way you'll remember that sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So let's start with the first one. We are still definitely going to label the different sides of our triangle. So this is x. Go directly across from that. That's my opposite side. And this is underneath it. This is my adjacent side. So which one deals with opposite and adjacent? That is tangent. Sorry. So I was looking up here. So this deals with opposite and adjacent. So this is going to be tangent. So my relationship is going to be the tangent of x. We do not know what x is. We know it's some angle measure. We don't know if it's 55, 67. We just don't know what it is. But we know it's an angle measure. So the tangent of x degrees is equal to 8 over 11. Now, since I'm looking for an angle measure, so this is x degrees. Since I'm looking for an angle measure, we need to find the inverse of this, and then I'll show you how to type that in Desmos. So in Desmos, we're going to type in tangent -1, 8 over 11. Only when you're looking for angle measures are you going to be dealing with the inverse, which this is this little -1 sign up here. So that means I'm dealing with the inverse. So in Desmos, we're going to type in tangent -1, 8 divided by 11. And let me show you how to do that. So make sure you're in degrees, which I'm sure I already am from the previous problems. And so if you scroll down to your keyboard, which is down at the bottom, I just had my open and I closed it. So there it is. Okay, so here's my keyboard. It's down at the bottom. Hit the arrow. Hit on functions. And then these are a whole bunch of functions. So you actually can hit the sine and cosine and tangent, or you can type the letters in. So we're going to type in tangent -1, 8 divided by 11. Now I'm looking for an angle measure. So this time I'm going to round to the nearest whole number since I'm looking for an angle measure. So this is going to round to 36 degrees. So back in my problem, I'm going to say that the answer to this problem is 36 degrees. Only when you're dealing with an angle measure, because this is x degrees, only when you're dealing with an angle measure do you have to type it in with the inverse. Let's try another one. Let's label the different sides of the triangle that we know. We know that 14 is the opposite side because you find your right angle, go directly across from that. That's O. This is my right angle, go directly across from that. That's your hypotenuse. So this is definitely sine. So my relationship is the sine of x is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. So that's 14 over 16. I'm looking for an angle measure. So in Desmos, we're going to type it in like this. The inverse sine of 14 divided by 16. We're going to type this into Desmos. So let's practice that one more time. I come here. We're typing in the inverse sine of 14 divided by 16. So I'm going to hit my functions down here where it says functions. I'm going to hit the inverse sign, which has a little -1 at the top. And I'm going to type in 14 divided by 16. Now, I'm rounding to the nearest whole number because I'm working with angles. So the answer to this is going to be 61 degrees. So the answer to this is 61 degrees. Last one, let's take a look at C. Label the different sides of the triangle that we have. It looks like I have the hypotenuse because I have this opposite side of my right angle, so that's H. And right beside my angle is the adjacent side. So which one deals with adjacent and hypotenuse? That is cosine. So cosine is adjacent and hypotenuse. So my relationship is the cosine of x is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So in Desmos, we type in cosine -1, 11 over 26. So I won't type this in. I trust that you kind of hit your functions and you can type this in since we did the first two together. Once you type this in, round to the nearest whole number because we're dealing with angles. and it should give us 65 degrees.